Colin has been diagnosed with cognitive disabilities due to apraxia, global apraxia. So that's a motor planning disorder in the brain. So riding a bike, tying a shoe, the sequences is really difficult for him. So he shies away from sports, but he did join Special Olympics this year, so that's really exciting. He's on the volleyball team. But for kids who have apraxia, global apraxia, it just gets all jumbled up in their brain. So that natural rhythm we all have is kind of missing with these kids. These children, it could be like hundreds of repetitions before it actually gets in their muscle memory and they remember it. So it's high repetition to get children with this disability to learn. So a lot of autistic children also have the apraxia, and it could be speech, it could be global, which is Colin, which is everywhere, really low muscle tone. But he's done really well. I mean, he's done fantastic. He's a really happy kid.
I'm one of Colin's teachers, and Colin's a sophomore. I had him last year as a freshman in a class, and then this year I have him in a few classes. And Colin's just a great kid. He's very, friendly with all the staff and students. He has certain interests that he likes to talk about. We always talk about our weekends or what we're going to do, and he always has exciting things going on. So he's just, a really fun-loving kid, and he's a great, addition to have in our class.
And very social, loves politics, loves current events. So he's just into anything, really.
I think Colin's a really good communicator, and I think he likes being around his friends, and he likes to work, in partners or small groups. So I think that works really well in a lot of our classes, and kids like to be around him. Kids gravitate towards him because he's very friendly and he's nice with everybody. So I just think that helps out a lot in classes.
They all have their, I think if you look at a lot of kids in the CLS, they have their, the things they love. They tend to really get into something and really enjoy it. And for Colin, it's definitely, he loves theater, he loves television, he loves movies. Like, that's his thing. That's what he loves to do, and it's what he really focuses on. Where I think you'd see a lot of his friends will focus on other things to a great extent. Colin, for his 16th birthday, wanted to go to New York, which is where I'm from, so we have family and friends, and he wanted to go see one of the talk shows. He wanted to go to a live taping. So it's hard because he wasn't you have to be 18 for a lot of them, and then some you're allowed to go at 16. So we found, we put in for like The View, ABC, and The View actually said, okay, we were on the wait list, and then they said you got tickets, but I didn't tell Colin until we got there. We went into New York City for the day, and then I told him we're going to go see The View, so he was really excited that we went to go see the talk show for a live taping. So I thought it would be really cool for him to see what happens behind the scenes, not just what he sees when he sits on the couch and watches the show. So he really likes all the hosts, and he does a lot of research on each one of them, and he looks at all their ratings, and he will say, like, this show's beating this show because this one had this person on as a guest. I think he gets really into all that kind of stuff. Before the show, Colin was like, I want to get everyone's autograph, and we were like, well, buddy, that's not really how it works, because they come out. Have you ever been to a live taping of a show? So, you're in the audience, so you're very separate, and they're over there. And I said, once they stop filming the show, they go back and you don't see them again. You just get to be a part of it while the show's taping. So he's like, oh, well, I'm going to still try. So we're like, all right, that's fine. And then we're sitting in the audience, and then it goes to commercial. And, the guy who kind of keeps the audience going, the MC, I don't know what you would call him. And he said, does anyone have any questions for the host? So all of a sudden I see Colin's hand pop up, and I'm like, oh, I go, Colin, put your hand down. What are you going to say? And he goes, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, God, now the guy's coming over to you. And he has no idea what he's going to say. And he asks Colin, he goes, hey, who's my friend over here? And, he's like, I'm Colin. He goes, what's your question? And he's like, I just really love the show. And he's like, okay, great. So he goes around and he starts talking to other people, and he goes, I'm going to go back and talk to my friend up there who's smiling, which was Colin. So he comes back and he asks Colin, where are you from? And then one of the hosts down there said, bring him down. So he got to sit down with all the hosts. And it was during the commercial break. And it was a really long, it was like a 10-minute break they had. I don't know why. And so he just got to sit down at the desk where all the hosts sit. And he just sat, and he was amongst, he was just talking to him. And he told Meghan McCain, he said, tell Senator McCain I said hello. And then he was just talking to, the other hosts, and he got the audience laughing because they asked him, where are you from? And he said, Chicago. And they said, oh, do you like New York pizza or Chicago pizza better? And he said, well, I'm gluten-free and I'm dairy-free. So like the whole audience was completely cracking up, and they asked him what he wanted to be when he's older, and he said an actor. So, it was just really cool. And he got his autograph because they all signed the cup for him. They gave him a coffee cup and they all signed it for him, and he got pictures of him together. So it was really cool.